What's going on, big dog?
What up, brother?
You got the beard trimmed up a little bit.
I do, just a tad.
Welcome to the sixth episode of Outside the Lane. Today we have Big Bad Bryce Harper, six-time All-Star, National League MVP. Man, what's been going on the past few months? You just been training, I guess, kind of sitting back and seeing what's going to happen when they're going to call the season, and kind of just sitting back, I guess, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I actually had a son in August, so I've been able to kind of enjoy some time with him, which has been great. Help mom out a little bit.
Hey, you changed some diapers, or is it all mama?
Absolutely. No.
Oh, you've been taking some?
I get in there a little bit. I got to, man. No, it's good though. It's if I was playing and stuff, which of course I'm going to be playing and everything, but to be able to spend this time with him, it's been so much fun just seeing his personality grow and seeing what he's doing. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, they'll be in that mama stage for a little bit, but eventually they'll come out of it.
That's
like
right.
Everybody else has. So you're out in Nevada right now, right?
Yep.
I'm guessing. What's the temperature? Was it in the hundreds?
Yeah. So today is about 106.
106. It's dry though. It's a little bit different than back here in Philly.
Yeah, I mean Philly. I mean you're from Texas, so I mean it's that heat down in Texas with that humidity.
Houston.
Houston. Yo, I grew up. I went to play in Houston like a couple of times when I was growing up, and it was wow. I mean that's hot. I mean
I know guys that had training camp down there, and they sometimes they lose 10, 15 pounds just every day, just getting IVs every day.
I mean, Vegas it's dry, of course, so you feel like you're in a blow dryer, like it's always windy too, so it's just blowing in your face. But that humidity, it's on a different level for sure. So
yeah. So I guess, man, really, I've been watching some of your videos lifting. I didn't know. Well, I see some baseball players come to the gym from time to time.
Here we go. Here's the debate.
Yeah, they do a little bit of core, a little bit of getting their arm warmed up. But I saw you deadlifting some weight, throwing in front squat, and was it 365? I guess, are you different than most guys, or is that just something you like to do, something you like to get after?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, my dad was always a lifter and get us into the weight room and things like that. So we all started, push-ups, sit-ups, curls, things like that. So it started at a young age from like 11 and 12 years old, and it kind of just grew. And then once I got into high school, actually our football coach, he hated baseball players, couldn't stand them. I always thought we were like the laziest people in the world and, this, that, and the other. So I'd walk in every day and go, all right.
Walk around with your flat bills? Did you have your glasses on upside down?
He'd always walk in and go, all right, who wants to be a slapdick baseball player today? Who wants to work? And so, he'd always, rag on us and things like that. And I just wanted to work, man. I wanted to, play hard and work hard in the weight room. And that's something I enjoy. I think a lot of guys that get into sports and things like that, baseball players, of course, always have that mentality of got to save my arm, got to save my shoulder. I might not work out this way. And stay strong. So,
yeah, I guess you do a lot of that. You do a lot of core exercises. Trying to think. Yeah, probably. I've heard a lot of guys. I guess you never did. I guess did you ever pitch in high school?
Yeah, I pitched in high school. I pitched growing up, but I was never worried. Like if I was doing stuff the right way, I was never worried about my shoulder getting messed up or anything like that. If you're lifting crazy, in any sport, you're gonna get hurt or get in trouble or anything like that. So, I was never in fear of getting hurt or anything like that. Just trying to do it the right way and do it consistently. My dad always preached to me like, play as many sports as you can growing up. So I played football, I played basketball, I played baseball.
Well-rounded.
Yeah, you have to be an athlete. And I think a lot of kids nowadays either stick just with football or just stick with baseball or basketball or anything like that. So, it was very instilled in me at an early age to play as many sports.
What did you play in football?
So I played outside linebacker and fullback.
Did you get at the passer sometimes? Did you get to rush a little bit?
Yes. I played on I lined up kind of like Lawrence Taylor on the outside, and I'd rush a little bit sometimes, and I'd drop back into coverage too.
I bet you had a mean bull rush. Is there any truth to that?
I don't know, man. I miss it. Football definitely was my first love growing up. I played it all the way up until my freshman year, and then go ahead.
No, I just remember. I think She's 2008, 2009. Is that when the Sports Illustrated magazine came out? Because I remember it said 16-year-old phenom, I believe. He could throw 96 and hit 500-foot homers, whatever. So I remember seeing that, and I was like, I'm assuming that's when everything kind of changed for you, or kind of took off, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, I think, my first love was football growing up, so I was really passionate about that. I loved the Friday nights and coming out of the tunnel and having that, that rah-rah kind of like let's go mentality, which you kind of can't have in baseball. Kind of got to be even keel, and not really get too fired up. In football, it was the total opposite for me. But I mean, being able to get into baseball and really understand like what was going to work for me, knowing that football in Vegas wasn't like the biggest sport in Vegas.
Yeah.
Like it was, down south or in Texas or anywhere else. It was all about, it was football and a little bit of basketball as well. So, once I knew like, hey, this is what I'm going to do, I kind of, stayed on that path and kept playing and enjoyed it. So
going back to the magazine cover, what was that? Was that your sophomore year of high school?
So that was my sophomore year. Yeah. So I dropped out as a sophomore.
That is crazy. And so once that happened, I saw where you went to JUCO. That has to be weird. What are you? You're 16, 17, and you're around all these guys. What, 20, 21?
Yeah, I mean, you get it. I mean, you play JUCO ball too. So I mean,
those guys don't know about JUCO ball. It's
different, man. It's different.
A whole lot.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not the best scenario or best situation, but for me it was. I mean, we had a lot of drop back guys, a lot of guys that were really good that didn't make grades their freshman year into D1 and came back and played their sophomore year at a JUCO. So we were really, really good that year. So I went into it. I was 17 that fall, and I actually got dominated, man. I really did. Like I went through a slum of like emotion and really, do I belong here? Like I'm a 17-year-old kid. I'm playing.
At the same time, you're still 3 years younger than everybody. So
we had a lot of guys that were 22 to 26. You know what I'm saying? Like JUCO guys, I mean, they can get all the way up to 30 years old and come back and play. You're like, hey, let's go. Like we're ready to go. I'm 35, but hey, I'm gonna follow my dream. So I mean, it was tough, but I tried to stick with it the best I could and tried to have that that good mentality. But it was rough, man. At the first, it was definitely rough.
I'll say probably the JUCO, as far as impacting your career, impacting my career, it'll make you hungry, man, because you see these guys coming from really nowhere, scrapping, and really I feel like you can learn a lot just being around those guys at that time. So
absolutely, no, I agree.
So you go to JUCO, you have some growing pains, and then 2010 you get drafted #1 overall, and I guess are you going into AAA? How does that work?
Yeah, so I got done playing. I think the JUCO year too was one of the most stressful years of my life. Even like now, I mean, going into a season, it's kind of okay. Well, I'm going to go into a season. We're going to play 162 games. Like, I'm hopefully going to have a job next year. Like, we're going to be totally fine. So in the JUCO, it was like I have to be the #1 pick. Like, there was nothing else. Like, I wasn't going to go back to school. Like, I wasn't going to try to get the best grades in the world. I was going to do my fall schedule and do my thing and then go play ball.
You were all in.
I was all in, man. Like there was nowhere else to go. You know what I'm saying? So once I got drafted and got into it, it was like, hey, the work's beginning. Like, here we go. It's starting right now. And I got drafted, like you said, #1 overall. And I was very fortunate to be able to do that to the Nationals. And I went to low A. So I went right into low A. I played low A ball for the first half of the season, and then got put up into double A.
Are you just constantly being evaluated? I guess when you're there, they say, "All right, he's ready. He's too good for this. We're moving up." Is that kind of how it works?
Yeah. So I mean, they kind of want you to hit kind of every step to see your emotion and how you deal with the fans, how you deal with media, how you deal with being bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's times where you're not going to be as good as you can, and they want to see you go through those rough times and those rough patches to see what really, what kind of type of, person and player you can be. So they wanted to see that struggle in me as well. And I thought, being able to do that, I kind of struggled in double A a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then came back that next year into camp, and they told me, hey, you're going to break with triple A at 19. And I was like, all right, here we go. I was like, this could be the start of me, getting into the big leagues hopefully this year. And that was in 2012 when I went to AAA that next year.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Just how fast it all went. I guess just how young you were through the whole process. You had that magazine cover, so you have all these expectations on you. But I feel like you're one of the guys you're so hard on yourself that it really doesn't matter what anybody else says. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is for, us athletes, I think, of course, when you hear something like, I mean, especially at a younger age, if we hear something or they tell you, hey, you might not be this player, or, hey, you're not going to be a catcher, you're going to be an outfielder, you're kind of looking at it as, what do you mean? Like, you don't think I'm good enough to be here, but you drafted me or anything like that. So I think that does get you, that emotion, the people saying what they do, if you're overrated or if they don't think you're good enough or anything like that, especially 17, 18, 19 years old. It kind of gets to you. And then you kind of have to get to the point where it's like, hey, it don't matter. People are going to say what they want to say. People are going to do what they want to do. And I have a really small circle. So, like, I have a, very small group of friends that I hang out with. I love my family very much. I enjoy my family. So my thing is people know me as Bryce Harper, the baseball player. And my family they know me as Bryce, just like you, they know you as Lane and, what you do at home and things like that, your family and everything like that. I mean, we have lives outside of the sport. And I think that's
hard for some people to believe, though.
For sure. Like, I think that was the biggest misconception, too, was like, dude, he eats, sleeps, and breathes baseball, and that's all he does. And it was like, no, like, I do other things outside the game. Like, I enjoy other things outside the game. If I didn't, I probably already freaking would have blown my brains out and said I'm done playing baseball. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's kind of that separation of, okay, you kind of have to, separate the game from being on the field in between the lines every day and then separate it going home as well. And I mean, that's tough.
It's hard. It's hard to flip that switch sometimes, especially
it's really hard.
During the season. You have stuff on the line, and you don't want to, I guess if you're a perfectionist, if you're really good at what you do, you're going to be on top of it, but at the same time I can say that for a lot of athletes. It's hard to turn that switch off and be somebody completely different when they're at the house.
Absolutely. I agree. I mean, that's one of the hardest things I think it is to do because we are so competitive and we play, I mean, especially in Philadelphia, man, we play in a big market that we have to perform every week. I mean, especially football. I mean, you guys have
it's very cutthroat.
Exactly. I mean, you guys have to perform every week because you're only playing 16, 17 games and you have to go, 9-8 or 8-8 or whatever it is to get into the playoffs. And it's like, dude, you're playing a powerhouse schedule all week long. It's not easy. And I mean, to be able to kind of get away from that though, and understand like, hey, you know what, we're going to take it 1 week at a time. We're going to take it one game at a time. As hard as that is, I think people look at that as like, nah, that's a cliche. And it's like, no, we really have to, because if we look into next week, we're going to get our asses kicked.
It's all about staying in the moment. I remember in the last dance, I think Phil Jackson did a good job of even practicing that with players, just keeping mindfulness and being able to, because when you're in the moment, you don't feel any pressure, any anxiety, any of that. So
you're at home. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're on a baseball field, or you're on a football field, and you're in between those lines, like you've worked all week long to prepare for Sunday or Monday or Thursday, and then you've worked all off season and all spring training for baseball season, and it's like, all right, now this is the easy part. This is the part where we love to get onto the field. We love to play our game. We're going to go through struggles. We're going to go through ups and downs, but we're going to get to the point where it's like, okay, hey, we're a brotherhood. We do what we do. We come together as a team, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. All the noise outside of that, man, like that's just all noise. None of that matters.
That's all it is. In high school and JUCO, did you play catcher all the way up to the bigs?
Yeah, so I caught and played third throughout my whole younger career, high school, and then JUCO, and then they drafted me as an outfielder. And they told me
that was interesting to me. I guess did you have to do your baseball combine? I guess you had a good 60, and they were like, I guess that's a big indicator. I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, I mean, they told me, they were like, hey, we kind of just want you to just hit, and we're gonna let you kind of learn the outfield on the run. And I mean, I was like, hey, how hard could outfield be? And then it's like, oh crap, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm my reads are terrible. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. So it's definitely tough to switch a position. I mean,
it's being different, like from catcher, something you're doing. You're doing something every play. Where outfield, there's a lot of inactivity until something happens. So it's like
exactly. Yeah, I mean
that's deficit disorder. You may have a problem.
Yeah, I mean I think that's the one thing that I miss probably the most about playing, catcher. I mean, probably you at quarterback too, where like you sit there and you're kind of like you're the leader. You're out there. You're in on every single play. I mean, with catcher, like you're calling pitches, you're doing this, you're doing that, and you have no time to really slip up because it doesn't really matter if you get a hit or not because you're going out there and you're trying to call the best pitches for your pitcher and being, the best framer and things like that. So I mean, that was kind of probably the hardest thing where that relationship I had with the pitchers, that relationship I had with the umpires, I missed that, and being out in the outfield, it's kind of like, all right, well, hopefully the ball gets hit to me today. Like
how much crap are the fans talking to you? I mean, how much stuff do you hear? Is it unbelievable?
You hear it all, man. You hear it all, especially in the East, man. I mean, everybody, it's tough in the East, bro. I mean, like you got the Mets, you got Mets fans like going at it, and I've played there since 2012, so they've seen me kind of grow into the player I am. And I think that they hate me more and more every single year. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I think to the point too is like I think they respect me as a player. I get that a lot where like they're like, hey, we respect you as a player. Of course, if you were on our team, we'd like you, but we hate you right now. And it's like, all right, I get that. Like that's fans.
I get it. That's understood.
100%. Like, so I mean, that's just how it goes. It's like when you guys walk into DC or Dallas or anywhere, man. You guys get booed and they hate you, and
it's just hell. Just hell.
It's just part of it. It's just part of sports. It's part of that grind. I mean, that's why. I mean, fans are fans, and they show up and they cheer us on. I mean, there's nothing like playing at home. There's nothing like playing in Philly because they have your back every single night, man. It's. I mean, for me, playing in Philly for the first time last year. I mean, it's definitely.
It was an adjustment at first.
It was definitely an adjustment, but I understood it. You know what I'm saying? Like I understood the passion, I understood the emotion, I understood the boos and the cheers, and then wanting the best out of me and the greatest out of me. And I totally understood that. I respected that. They're a very blue collar town, and they just wanted to see us play hard and work hard. And I mean, what else can we do for them? You know what I'm saying? Like, what else?
And now it feels weird if you don't get booed. You're like, well, it's supposed to be coming.
There's something wrong, isn't there? No, I mean,
man, my favorite part of baseball, I mean, I love seeing big hits, but I also love seeing people get pissed off. I gotta ask you a good question. What makes you more mad? Striking out or getting hit with a 93, 95 mile an hour fastball in your ribs or your thigh?
Oh, man. I mean, it depends on the situation. If I get drilled because of something that happened prior in the game, I'll probably be really pissed about that. But I don't like striking out either, man. It's especially in a big spot or anything like that, it's going to happen. I'm going to strike out, 180 to 200 times a year. It was funny. I was sitting down after I signed that contract, and I was like, man, like if I'm thinking to myself, like I could strike out like 4,000 more times in my career. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right.
People don't understand that. Just the chances of you hitting or getting on base. People don't have any clue about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the game. It's part of the process. It's part of if I strike out, I'm that much closer to a hit. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I can think about. So.
Man, when I was playing baseball, I was a good first baseman. I was a decent pitcher when they would let me, but sometimes the coaches' sons would get the nod at that. But I'll tell you what, I used to hate when guys, I'd be up there at the plate and they would just throw it high and inside, hit me in my ribs. Nothing got me more pissed off than that.
That's the funny thing, man. Like, would you rather, come across the middle and get hit by Ray Lewis, or would you rather get hit by a fastball? And a lot of football players are like, oh, Ray Lewis for sure because we got pads on or whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, like, no chance, bro. Like, I'd rather get hit by 105 right in the elbow and, hey, bro, there's no way, man. Coming across the middle like that and getting hit by some of these guys, like, I don't know how you guys do it. I mean, you guys get beat up week in and week out. I mean, playing offensive tackle, like, protecting a quarterback with guys coming through, man, like, I don't know. I mean, you're 330 pounds or something, like.
Yeah, 20, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I mean, so I get that, but there's no way, man. I was like, man, you know what? If baseball doesn't come back, I'll go play for the Eagles.
Come on. Yeah, man, one thing about playing offensive tackle or just offensive line in general, it's so communication based. And, a lot of times in our sets, you got to be aware of their alignments and if they're running stunts or any games. So if you do a jump set and they're running games, that's a sack. But at the same time, you'd like to change up your set to kind of disrupt them mentally and kind of get them off their game. And I'm guessing – every week, I guess you have a scouting report of each pitcher, what he likes to do, and it's kind of like a chess match, I guess, when you get up to the plate, really, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we look at a lot of stuff as well. So like we get a plan before every single game. It's a lot different because we'll get somebody up from AAA in the bullpen or something like that, and it's like, hey, we've never seen this guy. He throws 102. He doesn't know where he's going, but he might break one off and he might get lucky. But I mean, there's definitely a lot of stuff that goes into it, especially nowadays. I mean, you guys probably see it in football as well. Well, we're like, there's so much information out there, and it's like, well, I still want to have that feel of the game as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to lose that. Like, of course, I want the information,
There's
but
a fine line.
exactly. Like you kind of have to let it take over a little bit where you're like, hey, like I'm here for a reason. I understand what I need to do. I need to not swing at balls. I need to hit strikes. And I mean, I know what this guy's going to do to me. He's going to throw a cutter. He's going to throw a heater. He's going to throw a changeup, and kind of just let it evolve. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't really sit back and go,
Paralysis
okay,
by analysis never works.
man, dude. I mean, there's so much information out there, and I get it. Like there's guys that love the information, but then there's times where they go up there and they're like, dude, this guy might throw me. He's got 7 pitches. Like, what is he going to throw me? It's like,
Yeah,
he throws
you can't be out there guessing anymore. You got to react.
100%. I think that's one thing that, people lose that feel side of the game a lot because it is so, so based off of like intelligence and what we're going to do and how we're going to do it before the game. And it's just, I think that's one thing that, sports kind of has lost. I mean, I don't know how you feel about that, but just that feel part of the game of like, hey, you know what? Like, they thank you for the information, but also like I'm gonna let my ability kind of take over.
Yeah, I mean, really, for what I do, all of our so when I'm going in a week, I'm studying a pass rusher. It's like they put on their highlight tape, and everybody's just getting murked, abused,
getting crushed,
full rush to the
exactly.
ground. I'm like, I don't like watching this. It just puts negative stuff in my head. At the end of the day, I got to react. It's all reactionary based, off of them. But
who's one of the toughest guys you line up against? Like
in the division, it'd be Kerrigan and DeMarcus Lawrence, and then as far as guys in the league, man, Khalil Mack's tough. I mean, they're all Von Miller, Chandler Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, all those guys. It's getting to where everybody's strong, everybody's fast, and people
That's
are smart now, man. I mean,
go ahead.
They look at your stance. So if you're changing, I used to have a bad problem changing up my stance if it was a run versus a pass. So guys, I mean, as you know, as you move up in the ranks, those guys start picking apart on that. So just these guys are smart. They have a plan. Sometimes they'll set you up. They may not rush very hard for a few quarters, and then bam, go hard 1 second, and then that's all it takes for them trying to boo you out the stadium.
That's great. I mean, it's crazy how good athletes have gotten. I mean, over time. I mean, it's and how how much harder everybody works and how much info everybody has of like how their body works, what they're doing, how they work out. I mean, it's just seeing guys at your size or anybody on the other side of the ball playing defense that are running freaking 4.6s that are 300 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, Clowney's another one.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm thinking Clowney. I'm like, dude, this guy's coming off the edge, and he's out of college, out of South Carolina, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this guy.
And when he moves, man, he kind of chops sideways. Looks like a damn lizard running across the top of the water when he moves. It's a tricky situation.
B. Lawrence is a stud. I mean, Kerrigan, of course. I mean, he's been doing it for a long time. Like, I mean, all those guys. It's crazy. I mean, and then you got like a cornerback coming through, rushing the passer, like, off the edge or something coming right through and getting. I mean, it's crazy, man. How fast and how strong these guys are.
We're going to turn the tables a little bit and get a little bit more serious. There was a few years ago, the Cowboys were playing the Packers in the playoff game, and my grandma's sitting there cheering. I come in, I'm thinking about my uncle. We just came in from hunting, and she's in there cheering on the Cowboys. I said, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "Hey, if you don't live to be 76, you better shut your ass up and get out the house." And she was a Cowboys fan undercover, and I kind of heard you may have been a Cowboys fan too. And
hey, man, I'm Eagles through and through, kid. That's it. Changed my ways, man.
That's all I wanted to hear.
Hey, I got into Philly, man. I mean, you can't do it, man. I mean, I just seeing the way you guys play and the way you guys go about it. I mean, every single week, just like the Sixers or anybody else, like I couldn't imagine walking in somewhere and disrespecting you guys. No, I'm serious. As players, like I couldn't do it. Like I mean, the way you guys prepare, the way you guys do it. I think that was kind of one thing where when I was in DC, I was like, oh, you know what? Like, yeah, I've always been that kind of like I've always rooted for the Cowboys when I was growing up and things like that. And it kind of was like, okay, like my dad did it, so I did it. But like a couple years back, I was like, well, I don't really watch as much. Like, I don't really know the guys.
You don't have time.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I didn't really know the guys or anything like that. But now, like, getting to know you or Carson or anybody that comes over to the bank and things like that, man, like, I root for you guys every week. I was talking to Kayla, like, during, football season. Of course, I play fantasy just like any other baseball player. But I watch you guys every week, man. It's just, I see you guys prepare. I see the way you guys go through it. Especially last year, I think, losing all the guys that you guys lost last year just from injury and things like that, for you guys to be where you guys were, just showed how much of had showed how much of a family you guys were. And you could see that. And it was like that next man up mentality, and the way Doug Peterson, deals with everything. And I mean, I don't play for Doug, so I wouldn't know, but like, I just feel like
you can see it. I mean, it's pretty evident.
You can really see it. Like, you can see the drive and the passion that you guys have for each other and the love that you guys have for each other. And I think that's just so instilled into you guys. And it's like, of course, like, the fans, want to see it and they want to see you guys perform every week. But also, it's like, you guys are the Philadelphia freaking Eagles, bro. Like, I mean, it's a lot different than the Phillies. Like, and I can say that, like, I feel like the fans are so into you guys, and they are to us as well. But it's, it's the Eagles, man. Like, it's life and death every single week. You have, your 16, 17-week schedule, and it's like, you have to win. And, I mean, they expect that out of you guys. And you guys kind of came together last year where it was like, wow, this is insane. Like,
that's the way it's been really the past 2 years. Kind of
for sure.
Injuries and really starting off the season kind of sloppy, and then having to rally towards the end. It's kind of been the mantra the past 2 seasons. Want to change that this year, not make it so hard on ourselves.
I mean, you saw it too. Where I mean, you guys went through it with losing Carson the last couple of years and things like that, and guys coming in and playing and doing their job. And I mean, it's pretty incredible to see, man. I love Carson as a person. I mean, being able to talk to you right now, man, like, I root for you guys every single week. I mean, is it Scott, right? The running back?
Yeah, Boston.
Bro, I mean, him coming in and doing his thing, that was a joke. Like, that was a joke, dude. Like, just seeing him come in and kind of, like, take over. And he reminded me a little bit of, like, Darren Sproles kind of. Coming out of the backfield, kind of like body, like, running through guys, things like that. But, like, understanding, like, how to run. And, I mean, it's pretty remarkable to see what you guys have done, and especially this year, man. It was pretty cool to watch.
Yeah. Man, I know you do a lot of work in the community. Can you talk a little bit about the Harper's Heroes and kind of what that's about and kind of how long you've been doing it?
Yeah, so Harper's Heroes started a couple years back, about 2014. I grew up, I think a lot of people are affected with cancer, wherever you come from, wherever you are. One family member or one friend that has had it. And I grew up where one of my best friends grew up. He had it, he survived, and a lot of family members as well. So I was like, you know what's something that really hits home? What's something that I can really do?
That was it.
And that was it, man. I mean, I really enjoy it. What I do is I bring kids and their families in. I try to get them with their families, because the thing that people, I don't think they understand, is their families are going through so much. Yeah. Their sons and their daughters or their brothers and sisters are going through so much that they kind of get forgotten, I guess.
Yeah, they have a lot of just riddled with anxiety and just kind of don't know what to do.
100%. And they're so young and things like that, where I wanted them to be able to experience it as well, as they're the brother or sister that does have cancer. So I kind of bring them in. We hang out. They go into the clubhouse with me. They take pictures with the guys and enjoy that. I put them into right field with me, get them concessions and things like that, and
awesome.
Kind of just really, I want them to kind of forget what they're going through for the day.
That's what it does.
And that's what that's what I try to do. I think there's so many things. We're on a platform where we can help people. We're on a platform where we can, change lives, or we can take that time and really have that valuable time with them. And it changes their days, man. It changes, their mindset possibly. It helps them hopefully get to the point where they do beat cancer, or gives them that glimpse of hope, and that's the biggest thing. You see these kids in there, man, it kind of breaks your heart too. You sit there and you're like, man, like, you got a 4 or 5 year old kid that's going through more than anything that we could ever imagine. And we kind of complain or bitch about, well, my leg hurts or,
And
whatever.
that stuff pushes you. It makes you want to do more
Oh,
for
I
them,
mean,
be better.
100%. 100%. I mean, it makes you want to be the best, best player that night or the best person that night. And I mean, it's kind of gets to the point where, I want to try to be that person I can or the best person I can to hopefully, just put a smile on their faces, man. That's what it comes down to.
That's really
all
what it's
I
all
want to
about.
do, so that's what it's all about. So.
That is awesome. Last question for me before we get to the fans. What is your favorite spot to eat in Philly since you got here?
Oh man, probably Double Knot.
Double Knot?
Double Knot.
Have
Yeah,
you had Baby Blues barbecue?
I haven't.
You should go check that out. That's probably one
Pretty
of mine.
good?
Besides, we always eat at Del Frisco's for like O-line dinners and stuff. But
Yep.
Baby Blues, you should go check that out for barbecue.
All right. Like
Kind of hard to
brisket and all that stuff?
Huh?
Is it like brisket and everything?
Brisket, hey, everything you want. I think they have like jalapeno cornbread, I believe. They got wings. They got everything.
Nice.
All good.
All right. I'll check it out.
All right. Go to some of the fan questions, see what they got here for. One of them is Geno's or Pat.
Dude, you guys are going to laugh, and I've said this a million times. I have never had a cheesesteak in Philly.
I've only had one. That was the day I got drafted, so I really don't know.
I don't know. I've never been.
Where it was from. Let me see. From BMong30, he asked, what is your favorite glove brand?
Favorite glove brand? Rawlings. I've been using Rawlings.
That's what I always had, but guys that always had an Nakona glove, they just thought they were just a little bit better than everybody else growing up. So I didn't know if you were part of that team.
Nakona smelled good. They always smelled really good. That leather, man. There's nothing like that leather, but Rawlings definitely.
Rawlings. There we go. Yeah, this is probably a pretty common question. Nikki Thorson asked, how do you feel about playing with limited or no fans at all?
It's tough, man. That's going to definitely be tough. What I'm hoping happens is if they don't open up the stadiums, is they got to take out the blackouts, man. Like they can't black out games for the fans. That's something where I grew up in Vegas, so the Dodgers were never on TV. So fans in Vegas could never watch the Dodgers play that were Dodger fans, or fans out in St. Louis can't watch the Cardinals or things like that. So I mean, not being able to have that, it's definitely gonna hurt the game, I believe. So that's one thing I think if we don't have fans in the stands, then we're gonna have to open it up.
Yeah, I saw. I can't remember where I saw it, but they had teddy bears and different stuff behind the. Did you see that?
Yep, and the KBO, Korean baseball.
Yeah, that's
what's crazy is like in Texas, they said the Houston Astros and the Rangers that they're going to open up their stadiums for them to have fans. So they'll have fans.
Yeah, I know Texas and Oklahoma is wide open right now. Up here it's a little bit.
Well, that's how Vegas. I mean, Vegas has pretty much been open pretty much the whole time. I mean, shut down for a little bit, of course, just like everybody else, but it's been pretty open. So
yeah. All right, last question. Let's see. Mattis Softball Life asks, what do you eat during games? Are you a big sunflower guy, or do you get a big whole wad of Big League Chew and just chew on that the whole game?
Man, I don't do nothing. It's crazy. Like, I don't like it. Like, I don't like focusing on something else in my mouth and figuring that out. Like, so I've never been a seeds guy. Never really been, on like long road trips, I'll do seeds. But I don't know. And it's too hot. Like I don't know how people do it, man. Like, you're out and you're like chewing on bubble gum or whatever, it loses its taste. Or you're having seeds and your mouth's dry and you're like, oh, you know what I'm saying?
I can't do seeds. I'll get out there and choke and pass
do
out.
Guys in the NFL, like, do they do that? Like, do they chew gum or like? I mean, you guys have mouthpieces, so I mean.
I never wore a mouthpiece.
Yeah,
so,
that's crazy.
Yeah, some guys do seeds, some do gum, but a lot of the old linemen, we're out there just sweating and we don't really have anything around us.
No chance. Exactly. No way, man.
Well, man, I appreciate you joining me. Stay safe, man. You look like you're staying in excellent shape, and we're all just going to play it by ear, I guess, when our season's going to start. But best of luck to you. Thanks for joining me, and until next time.
No, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me. Thank you.
All right, brother.
All right, we'll see you.